engaging.
You better put those down. I don't want to scare the kids.
Carmina! Everything's gonna be okay.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, I just don't like it when people lie to little kids.
Why are you doing this?
Because of your hero here. Until you showed up, everything was running smoothly, but you've become a fucking problem. Taking from us, throwing everything out of balance.
I think we should just kill them.
No, hold on. We don't want any martyrs here. What we want is to make sure everyone understands that your help is a curse. Every person you help, every child you inspire, every settlement you build, we will take from you.
There's this struggle between the survivors and the highwaymen. Everybody's struggling for resources. The highwaymen are constantly bullying the
The only
survivors.
currency in this world is power. You made us look weak. That ends now!
And the twins in this
We're gonna take
game
everything that you hold
are
dear,
really good villains.
starting with your home.
And if we can't take it, we'll break it.
Don't be here when we come back.
Like the twins are really cool villains. Okay, the leaders of the highwaymen. It's all about
Oh my god.
resource management and who gets what.
Come on. It's okay. Now it's
And
okay.
this
It's
sense
okay. Let's
of
go inside. Let's go.
everything you do matters for these people. Very much like
Over here.
it feels like Dying Light was a lot like this. It was Rise versus the Tower, resource management, who controls the resources, and you feel like you're giving it your all out there every day, trying to help those survivors survive. And I feel like Far Cry New Dawn kind of knocked it out of the park with that feeling. And it's you can throw a wet sock at me all you want, but I really feel like this game is an underrated gem. Well done. Like, it's well done, and anytime I get into this game, it sucks me into the environment
We'll be okay.
because I can't wait to get out there and explore. Of course, I love Far Cry 5. It's my second favorite Far Cry game because Faith, John, Jacob, and Joseph are some of the most memorable villains. Like, there's this, like, every time I'll be driving down the road and all of a sudden I'll think about, like, one of those songs on the radio, right? One of those gospel songs from the game. And it sucks me right back into Far Cry 5. But Far Cry New Dawn is this beautiful balance of grinding for resources, trying to build up your camp, be a useful individual in the world that you've been thrown in, and just having gobs of fun, right? Constantly working towards getting those weapons you need, um, helping, contributing to the settlements that's being built here. Um, sure, it's not like super in depth, and I was really hoping that Far Cry 6 would take this right here, everything that made New Dawn really good, and just sort of expand on it. And I really did. I don't feel like they did it good. Like, they didn't do it very well at all. Of course, like, the enemy AI is still really stupid in this game, which is, traditionally the byproduct of Ubisoft games in general. But it really fits in this world because you can imagine, like, the twins recruiting snot-nosed teenagers out of struggling settlements, and they paint them up and they put a rag on their face and they shove a pistol or a shotgun in their hands and they push them out into the world. So they're dumb, right? So when you come in there and you steamrolling over everything, they're stupid. They're not highly trained at all. They're a bunch of thugs that well, they're not even thugs. They're wannabe thugs, right? Because they want to be part of the highwaymen, because the highwaymen have everything. Why do the highwaymen have everything? It's because they bully everybody. And you want to stand up against that sort of bullying, right? Pushing, exerting influence over resources the way the highwaymen do. And I really, really think it was a good idea. Could have been better. Could have been like if they had just they took that idea and really ran with it, you know. If they would have taken the entire map of Hope County, not just a piece of it, but an entire map of Hope County, you know, and really exaggerated this idea of the highwaymen and the survivors struggling for control of resources and really put you out there, right? Like this could have been something, right? But yeah, most of it takes place in the Holland Valley region, John's old region, which it's fine, but yeah. I can honestly say the last time I finished this game, I was never bored. I was never struggling to like this game. I liked everything about it. The only thing I might have not liked was no Game Plus mode. But, you know, some of the best games ever don't have a Game Plus mode. That's fine. Yeah, going back and revisiting these areas that, you know, you were in Far Cry 5, right? And seeing what happened to them, like Falls End, like wow, right? It's basically just a freaking let's fast travel there real quick. Falls End, it becomes an absolute wasteland. It was an outpost that I took over, you know. But like you come to Falls End, like this is what's left of Falls End from Far Cry 5, and they went out of their way to redesign this area to make it feel so different from Far Cry 5. There was so much about this game I really wanted to see in Far Cry 6. I really wanted to see it. And it never happened. Like Far Cry 6, I feel like really sucked in the way it implemented the, you know, the resource management, the resource grind, this idea of, you know, two opposing forces fighting for control over a land or resources. It didn't quite haunt me like Far Cry 5 and New Dawn did. So Far Cry 5 and New Dawn will go down in history as like my Far Cry experience. Like, this is the tits, if you can even say that on YouTube anymore. Yeah. Yeah, New Dawn is like Far Cry 5. I love New Far Cry 5. And but Far Cry New Dawn it's still my favorite Far Cry game. I know a lot of people don't like New Dawn. They didn't like a lot of things about it. They didn't like the monetization that was creeping into the Far Cry franchise. You can honestly play this game. I have beaten this game and not spent one dime, not one Ubisoft credit to buy weapons or anything for this game. So it's not pay to win. Yeah, the store's there. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to have the store there. It's just there. Ubisoft is basically just seeing if they can get you to buy something. Yeah. But yeah, there's always this thing, you know, between the highwaymen and the frickin' settlers just fighting for control of things. You feel useful in this world. Like Dying Light, you feel useful. People depend on you. They need you for things. They're always going to need you for things. Anytime you pop into this world, they're going to need you for things. You feel like you're contributing to the success of what's going on with survivors, right? Now, grant you, I feel like one thing that's really missing from this experience is what if, yeah, I'm not gonna say it, like, I feel like the twins are, like, they're very commanding, right? What if you could choose to join the Highwaymen, right? And how the story would change if you chose to join the Highwaymen. You don't really get the choice, right? But you know, it's fine because I wouldn't want to join I wouldn't want to join those douchebags anyway. They don't really seem like they have their shit together. So who wants to join a bunch of freaking bullies who ain't no good at nothing except bullying people, right? They don't have anyone's best interests in mind. But yeah, anyway, Far Cry New Dawn is my favorite Far Cry game. Of course, that comes from somebody that didn't grind out hundreds of hours playing Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4. So, yeah, I would imagine if you've spent hundreds of hours playing Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, when you got to Far Cry 5 and Far Cry New Dawn, you would probably be pretty burned out. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I feel like some video games don't have a developer problem, they have a gamer problem. They have a bad gamer problem. Gamers have a bad habit of indulging and burning themselves out with a franchise, and then anytime that franchise offers them something new and it feels too familiar to the thing that they've been grinding out for hundreds, if not thousands of hours, they get mad because they want something new. And goodness knows, when a game offers them something new, they throw a fit because it's too different. It's too different. I don't like it. That happens a lot in the gaming community. I know that for a fact. I've seen it happen. I saw it happen with Callisto Protocol. I've seen it happen with other titles. Prey was another one. People absolutely freaking hated that game because it was too new. It was way too new. And grant you, Arcane Studios said, they really wish they hadn't named the game Prey, but they were it was a contract. They had to call it Prey, right? But it was new, and people hated how new it felt. They didn't like it, right? Some people didn't like Elden Ring. Some people despise the Dark Souls games. People like games that feel familiar, but when they spend hundreds of hours playing those games, and then they buy another game that feels just like what they spent hundreds and thousands of hours playing, they get bored with it. So they crap all over the new game, and they say, "Oh, this is crap. It's trash. It's absolute trash. I hate this. It's the Ubisoft formula. It's this formula. It's that formula. Sick of it." Then don't play those games. And when they play something that's not like anything they played, they start criticizing it because it doesn't feel familiar enough. So, yeah. Although I do agree with a lot of criticisms when it comes to the Far Cry franchise and the Assassin's Creed franchise, I will say this much. I don't think the gaming industry has a pure developer problem. I think the gaming industry also suffers from a gamer problem. Gamers that want to be stimulated with new things, but keep buying the same damn thing over and over again, wanting something different from it, and then blaming the developer because they're not getting something different. And when they do get something different, they do nothing but whine about it. They whine and whine and whine. The experience is not what I thought it was going to be. I don't like these mechanics. I'm not sure what the developers were thinking. This doesn't make sense. I'm not used to it. Well, you spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours playing a Ubisoft game, and then you get surprised when you buy another Ubisoft game and it feels a lot like another Ubisoft game. And then you complain about it. Well, then play something other than Ubisoft games once in a while. You know? Mix it up. Play a golfing game. Play a fishing game. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents. So yeah, New Dawn, Far Cry New Dawn it's my favorite Far Cry game. And it leaves me wanting more, which is always a good thing. If a game leaves you always wanting more, then that's a home run. This game always leaves you wanting more, in my opinion. Anyway, that's all I got for now. You all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, and I will catch you on the flip side.